Hello again, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast Retro Life for You. My name is Chris Adams, host of the show, and joining me this week, you're not going to believe it. I got a great co-host this week. Check it out. I'm going to bring him on the show right now. Okay, here he comes.
Oh, you got trouble coming.
Oh no!
My
Oh
name is
no!
Smokey Bear, and I'm tail grabbing your ass right now.
Travis T. Justice. I don't believe it. The one and only.
That's right. That's right.
Oh my
I'm
goodness.
here to
I,
uphold the letter of the law.
yes. I see you
Yes,
brought Junior with you.
I did. He got his hush puppies. He can't talk right now.
He's you. So you found some time for that.
That's right.
That's right. I've been waiting for this one for a while. Smokey and the Bandit. I love talking about
Well,
this movie.
well, let's do it. What the hell is this? A drive-in movie? Get off there, you moose twit.
Not quite a drive-in movie, but look, before we get actually started today, I thought I'd switch things up a little bit. Usually at the end of the show, I'm putting this stuff out there. I'm gonna throw a little bit of it out at the beginning. If you're new to the show and you don't know what we do here, we basically talk retro movies from 80s and 90s. And every so often, Travis and I will get a wild
1977
hair up
tonight.
our exactly. We'll get a wild hair up our tail, and we'll throw in the 70s or some 2000s, but it's mostly 80s and 90s. And here soon, you'll start seeing some maybe some more 70s and some
Mhm.
2000s on the YouTube channel. But if it's your first time listening to us, make sure you subscribe to us so you get the show come through in your feed every week, and let us know what you think about us. So, Travis,
Heck yeah.
time to get running. It's time to go eastbound and down.
Eastbound and down, roll it up and truck it. We got to get this Coors over here, man, east of the Mississippi.
Got to go to Texarkana. Them
Yeah,
boys are
or west
thirsty.
of the Mississippi. Them boys thirsty.
They're thirsty. I'll tell you what. Uh, so I want to take a little bit of a sidestep. What we usually go straight into, like the box office stuff and things like that. What it made, yada yada yada. But do you know what the idea behind this movie was?
The
Why they
idea
made
behind
this
it.
movie based on the theme of what they have for them trucking the Coors beer across the states like that and everything.
Because of a real banquet, real problem they have with Coors, getting Coors across the Mississippi River. Like
Right?
you really actually could not get Coors east of the Mississippi
You cannot.
because it wasn't pasteurized.
Exactly. I thought that was crazy. And so talking about this, Hal Needham, the guy that did this, basically had the biggest hand in making the movie and everything, directed the movie with Burt Reynolds. Um, I'm trying to find this. Beer was not. It says because the beer was not pasteurized and needed constant refrigeration and could not legally be sold outside of 11 western and southwestern U.S. states, which made him
Mm-hmm.
realize that bootlegging Coors would be a good plot line for a movie.
Yeah, reason for that is because your alcohol start turning back into mash. It'll start souring out again and making people sick. You think bitter beer face is bad? You ought to have some bad. Get you a bad batch of beer. Mouthful of that. It ain't no good.
Such a fun movie, man. A lot of big stars.
This
Well, I don't say a lot of big stars, but it was a great cast, though. I mean,
this is one of the movies I watched from the time I can remember. I've seen this movie my entire life over and over and over again. I cannot tell you. This is probably the only movie I've seen more than Lord of the Rings.
yes,
and it never gets old. It never gets not funny. It's always and you I mean if you can sit down and even quote half the movie to still hear Jackie Gleason say the lines is
right.
nothing tops it. To still hear Jerry Reed say, "Well, I don't believe Fred bit you, Mister, because he don't eat grease balls."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like nothing beats it.
It's I mean, so many funny one-liners, and like I was talking with you earlier, the majority of this movie, according to Sally Fields in an interview, the majority of the movie was ad lib. There was hardly any script at all.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they're just playing off each other through the whole movie.
Yeah, they did it
And
Cheech and Chong style.
yeah, I mean, and all of Jackie Gleason stuff was pretty much done that in very fashion. I mean, he just
Mhm.
whatever he felt like saying, he said it, I guess, and that was it. Did you know the original budget was 4.3 million or 400 well, $4,300,000, right?
Mhm.
When it started filming, they were well, actually, it was I want to say 5 million. A million was taken away right off the top.
No kidding.
Yes, and Burt Reynolds was already making a million, so that left basically 3.3 million to do this.
Wow.
The movie grossed in US and Canada
Mhm.
worldwide, it says here, $126,737,428.
Yeah, I'd say they made a little money on that.
They made quite a bit of money.
Is that lifetime earnings? I wonder what.
Oh no, 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 not
I
lifetime
wonder.
earnings. That's just
Oh,
gross worldwide when they
okay.
made the
Yeah, that's the
movie.
gross box office, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
gross box office.
Oh
Um,
well, I have to find out about it before we end the show. What the gross lifetime earnings to
we
date?
can definitely try and find it now. And just
Yeah.
what when it comes to the movie, now Hal Needham, he kind of claims in the DVD documentary they could barely run all the cars they had towards the end of the film's production. They
Right.
had 3 Trans Am cars that were used in the movie, is what they said originally. Then there was it was kind of heavily rumored it was more closer to 12. I don't
Yeah.
know which is true and which is not,
Right.
but each people claim different things. In this, this made the Trans Am, the Pontiac Trans Am, a superstar of cars among people.
Well,
This
that
movie
particular
did.
that 6.6 liter, no doubt, dude. That thing is a
Yes,
beast.
it was. I mean, Trans Am sales jumped from 68,745 in 1977 to 93,341 in 78. And just 1 year later, it swelled up to 117,108 units sold
There you go.
based
And
off that movie.
they just recently, within the past 3 or 4 years, uh, did a Chevy Camaro homage to
Yes.
look like the Bandit car.
Oh, it was sharp too. And you were
It
talking
was.
about that 6.6 liter. Uh, at the 127 mark, you can see Bandit shifting the Trans Am.
Hmm.
Um, while most Trans Ams had an automatic transmission at the time, the car in the film had a 4-speed manual, which was available with the optional TA 6.6 liter V8 engine.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's some displacement, dude. I mean, that's crazy.
it's a monster of a car. I mean, I would love to have that car. That's one of the cars on my I want cars list if I was to
Right,
get
right.
them. I mean, we're always talking General Lee and the kit car
Excuse me.
stuff like that, right? But I
Mhm.
mean, gosh, the Bandit car,
No
yeah,
doubt.
definitely would love
Well,
that.
a replica. I think one of the replicas sold for 300 and change.
Yeah, and most of the ones that were left all got smashed, but one, I think, and that was the one
Mhm.
that was used for photo purposes.
Yeah.
And I mean that's a
Yeah,
shame. I
by the
mean, I
time they
know
were
they weren't
done, they only
running.
had 1.
Yeah, I mean, I know they weren't running or anything, but they could have been repaired and redone and all that good stuff. People would have bought them just for restoration projects, but they took them to a compactor and that's it,
Oh,
gone.
yeah.
And that was at the
Done for.
request of Pontiac. They wanted it done that way.
Right.
But still, I don't know why. Who knows?
Yeah.
I mentioned earlier, I started to say a lot of stars. It's not like a lot of stars, but I mean a great cast though.
Yeah,
Burt
and well,
Reynolds.
at the time, I don't think it got too much bigger than Bert.
Well, right, Burt Reynolds, and Jackie Gleason. I mean, two huge names right there right off the
Mhm.
bat. Sally Field, she was just coming into her own basically. I
Right.
think at that point in time, was she not? Because her biggest movie came after this, the first big movie she did anyway. That she
Well,
got nominated for something on. She'd already done some other things, but I mean, I think as far as movies go,
yeah, and I remember something about her taking this role because she had been dubbed as the ugly girl. I remember something about that. I'll have to find that little tidbit uh, afterwards. But it seems to me like I watched her. It's not Gator, is it? No, it's not Gator
she was in. I think
McCluskey.
she was in that movie.
Was it Gator McCluskey?
She was in 4 movies with Burt Reynolds. No,
Uh,
no. No, wait, hold on. Maybe it wasn't good. Maybe it was Hooper.
Not count Hooper. Was it Hooper? Hooper was the stunt man.
Yeah, she was in
Right.
Hooper.
Okay. But she had done the Flying Nun. The Flying Nun's what made her famous. The Flying Nun.
The
Because
Flying Nun.
she did the Gidget TV show. I remember watching that at my grandma's house.
Right.
And then she did the Flying Nun.
Right.
And then I'm
Son
gonna
Marcus
say
Welby,
Smokey and
MD.
the Band. No, Sybil, where she was the crazy chick. Because that's why I always use the joke. I say, yeah, it's Weather by Sybil around here.
Yes, Sybil, the TV miniseries,
Yeah, and she
1976.
had different
She did that just before Smokey and the Bandit.
Yeah, she had multiple personality disorder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then she went on and did Hooper. Now, Norma Ray was the one that I think she got nominated for.
Okay.
I believe that was it. And then, of course, she did Smokey and the Bandit 2.
Mm-hmm.
So is that the, let's see, Smokey and the Bandit 2, Hooper, Smokey and the Bandit. There's one more she did with him. What's the other one?
It might have been Gator McCluskey. So well, she did. They did both. They did Smokey and the Bandit 2 as well.
Was he in Murphy's Romance? Was that a
I
Burt
don't
Reynolds?
know. I don't remember that one.
I don't know, but either way it goes, she did 4 movies with him. I know for sure.
Yeah.
No, that was James Garner in Murphy's Romance.
Okay.
Rockford Files. James
And
Rockford himself.
she was Forrest's mama. She sure did care a lot about his schooling.
She was the mother for Forrest Gump. That is true. I mean, she's had so she had a good career when she was in her youth, no doubt.
Yeah, absolutely.
I
Even as she
don't
got
know.
older, she was Aunt May in our Spider-Man.
Well, I'm saying I don't think she had much of a downtime really. She's been pretty much. I'm looking at her list of credentials throughout the years. So let's go back down. Let's leave off at Smoking the Bandit 2, okay? Back Roads, Absence of Malice, a TV movie, All the Way Home, Kiss Me Goodbye, Places in the Heart, Murphy's Romance, Surrender, Punchline, Steel Magnolias, Not Without My
I remember
Daughter.
Steel Magnolias.
Yeah, well, I remember Punchline too. That was she was like a comedian, female comedian. Not Without My Daughter was supposed to be a fairly big movie for her too. Homeward Bound, The Incredible Journey, Mrs. Doubtfire. She
She
played
was the
Miranda
cat.
Hillard.
She was the cat in Homeward Bound. I remember that. She was sassy.
Right. And like I said, Mrs. Doubtfire, she played the kid's mother in that. Forrest Gump, you mentioned earlier. Eye for an Eye, of course, Homeward Bound 2. So let's go a little bit further up.
She was in this movie too, with Natalie Portman and Ashley Judd. Something about the Walmart baby. I remember that.
Yeah.
The Walmart baby.
I can't think of the name of that movie off the top of my head.
That's a good movie too.
So she was in Amazing Spider-Man, like you mentioned.
Aunt May.
That was the one with Andrew Garfield, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yep.
I was thinking.
Yeah, because in Toby, Aunt May was way older. I think. Yeah, she was Mary Todd Lincoln too, and she's in the new 80 for Brady movie that I've been hearing is hilarious that I hadn't watched yet.
I haven't seen it either, but haven't.
On to the next.
To be honest with you.
How about Jerry Reed?
And
well, she got the gold mine. She got the gold mine, and I got the shaft. I got the shaft.
Love that song.
It split it right down the middle, and I gave her a bit of half.
Is that not when I first heard it? That song cracked me up.
Oh man, that song is hilarious.
He's just got this knack for telling stories in a song like that.
Oh, Jerry Reed, man, folk music. Jerry Reed's irreplaceable.
I mean,
and people only know him if they know him, you know.
So now the song, is it called The Gold Mine or is it called The Shaft? I forget which.
She got the gold mine.
It's called She Got the Gold Mine? Okay.
She got the gold mine, and I got the shaft.
You got between that and Eastbound. Now, Eastbound and Down became his biggest hit of all time.
Oh, for sure.
Hal Needham asked Jerry Reed to write a theme song for the film. Okay. So Jerry Reed picks up an acoustic guitar and starts playing it for him. And Needham has him to just stop. And thinking that Needham didn't like it, Reed offered to rewrite the song, to which Needham replied, "If you change one note, I'll kill you."
Right.
He said the song went on to become one of Reed's biggest hits. and I can believe it's a great song. It's fun. Of course, the only thing I think of when I hear it, I think of this movie right off the bat.
Yeah. Oh
But
yeah, you
it's
have to.
a fun song though too at the
Yeah.
same time.
I love Guitar Man and When You Hot, You Hot. When You Hot, You Hot. Oh, when
Yeah.
you're not, you're not. He was so much fun all the time.
Now, do you remember him being on the Scooby Doo movies cartoon?
Yes, I do. I
I remember
absolutely do.
they used to go for an hour every day, Scooby Doo movies.
Yep.
Well, when they came on, it was like a weekly thing at first, but then it would start repeating every day. They started showing them, and he was playing, of course, singer songwriter Jerry Reed on there, and his big
Yep.
hit on the song was "Pretty Mary Sunshine," I think it was. That he'd be singing on there for them to find him when he was locked up somewhere.
Mhm.
Um, so let's see if he's
You
done
remember
many.
you remember Amos Moses, the Cajun that could he could trap the biggest, meanest alligator and use just one hand?
Oh, I don't remember that.
Oh, you gotta look up Amos Moses after this, man. Amos
I'm gonna
Moses
have
is a
to.
great song too.
I'm gonna have to for sure. Uh, do you okay, so he's been on some very fun things. I'm just looking at his list of credits to make sure I don't miss anything here, but I'm just going to start with Smokey and the Bandit and just go from
Mhm.
there. You got
Oh, for
Concrete
Jerry Reed's
Cowboys,
credentials. We're doing good Jerry
Jerry
Reed's
Reed.
credentials?
Yeah, Jerry
Okay.
Reed.
And
So,
movie credentials, we should
well,
say.
movies and TV over the years, just some keynotes basically. I mean, of course,
Okay.
Smokey and the
Now I know
Bandit
he
2.
was in Gator McCluskey. McCluskey.
Was the movie called Gator McCluskey or just called
It's
Gator?
it's called Gator, but his name's Gator McCluskey.
Okay.
McCluskey.
You kept saying McCluskey. I'm thinking, am I thinking of a different movie? Was it
No, it's
called
just
just?
called Gator. And he was on
See,
Mama's Family. I remember that.
I was gonna bring that
Remember
up.
we was talking about Mama's Family the other day in the 80s. Remember we
Yeah,
was talking about 80s sitcoms.
Leonard Oates was he was Naomi's first husband.
Yeah.
I remember on the episode of Mama's Family when he came back into town trying to win her over, and what was the husband's name? Mama's son, was it
Oh Lord, I don't remember. Oh, Vince.
Vincent?
Yeah, Vincent.
Vince? Okay, because
Vincent and Naomi.
she called him Vin sometimes.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was
And
some of the
I
goofiest
remember he was
shows.
red in The Water Boy too.
I was gonna bring that up as well up here.
If I
Bat
give you, will you?
21. You see Bat 21? He was in that.
Yeah, I ain't
Played
seen that
Colonel
one.
George Walker. Um, BL Stryker was a TV series. He played a character Bill. Evening Shade, a couple like one episode there. He doesn't have a long list of movie credentials,
Mhm.
but he's had some some funny roles.
He's
I
one of
love
those
him. I
sort
love him in The Water Boy.
of no doubt. Is the b-hole head coach of the opposite team for those of
Yeah,
y'all that don't might not realize Jerry's one of them that he's a timepiece. You know what I mean? He's famous among people that from I guess that era or that knew him. You know, if you see him anywhere, you're like, oh my God, that's Jerry.
yeah. Jerry Reed. He's the
Mhm.
one who did the Water Boy with a picture when he was mad about something. A lot of the times,
Right? Yeah, yeah.
he get mad when he tell him, "Water Boy, you're fired."
Water sucks.
Water sucks. I think I used to think when that movie came out, they were trying to make fun of Florida State and Bobby Bowden.
Right,
If you think about it, back then how Bobby Bowden was, he was so outgoing and everything, and um, it was the same colors that Florida State wore.
right.
So that was, I mean, I think they were making fun of them in a way.
They might have been
Who knows? But Jerry
showed
Reed,
up.
my memories always be more known for his music and Smoking the Bandit more than anything else. So
Yeah, music and Snowman for sure.
yeah. So we talked about people's
And he
credentials.
was the bandit in was it Smoking the Bandit 3? He drove the car.
He did. He was the one playing the role of the bandit, but it was
Yep.
because he was still Snowman, but he
Mhm.
was masquerading as Bandit.
Right, he was faking it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I can't
Throw him
remember
off a
why
trail
now.
or
To be
something.
honest with you, I can't
I don't
remember
either.
because I didn't like that one very much. Not gonna lie, it was
Me either.
not one of my favorite movies at all.
I didn't either.
If there was a downside, if there was a rhinestone for Jerry Reed,
It
that
was
would
Smoking the
be it.
Bandit 3.
Yes, that would be it.
Honestly, I mean, it's worth watching just because of Jackie Gleason, but honestly, I don't think the second one recreated the magic in any way either.
No. No, but it was still okay. It just wasn't. This is one of those movie series where it's a prime example of the original movie is the best.
And it's nonstop. It is nonstop hilarity, and it just, I mean, man, do you think they could get away? You think Jackie Gleason would be canceled these days?
Yes,
Oh my
yes.
god!
Like for example, in the part of the movie where they are wanting them to set up a roadblock, and the sheriff tells him, "You realize you're out of your jurisdiction, sir, right? And I think we can handle this fairly well. We've got this taken care of."
Right?
And then they end up getting knocked off the. This is where the bandit jumps the bridge,
Yeah, and
and
they slow the car down, and the car falls
yes,
down.
yeah,
Yeah,
and then Jackie Gleason comes up behind them and he bumps their tailgate or their bumper and
knocks them
knocks
on down.
them, nose first down to the creek. So the deputy looks at the sheriff, goes, "Wasn't my fault. I didn't wreck it." He's like, "Oh, shut up," or something. And they look up there,
And this is a
and
6 foot, probably 4 African American sheriff.
yes. So when he gets up there, you
Yeah,
see, Jackie Gleason's like, "Where's your sheriff, boy?"
yeah.
And he tells him, he goes,
He
"I
took his. It
am the
was so
sheriff."
crazy the way he did it though. Like he pulled his glasses off and looked at it and said, "Hey, boy." I'm
"Where's
like, "Oh
Sheriff so
Lord."
and so?" He's like,
Yeah.
"You're looking at him." He goes, "Oh, uh, well,"
Then he turned around and
he
walked
goes,
away.
"But hold on." Before he does it, he like, "You sounded taller on the
Yeah.
radio."
Yeah.
So this is
Because down in
still,
the ditch.
yeah. So you can during the time this was filmed, this is showcasing, some of those, uh, I guess you could say deep South feelings that some people probably still had back in that time.
Yeah, because he
Coming
turned around
from,
and went back to the car, and when he got in the car, he goes, "What the hell is the world coming to?"
yeah, like he was shocked that the sheriff was a black sheriff. I'm just thinking, what was that a nod toward Blazing Saddles? Possibly, I don't
I felt
know.
like it was. You know what I mean? A
I
black
mean,
sheriff.
who
And then
knows?
when he was talking about the talking about a poontanging around. God Almighty, dude, that dude is the funniest. I mean, that is just too much.
The fact that he just improvised all that stuff, and you found the clip I told you about, right, where he dressed up as Buford T. Justice again and kind of drops in on that little
Oh
bash
yeah,
for Burt Reynolds.
oh yeah,
That's a funny clip right there on its own.
yeah.
I told
He
you,
kind of crashed the party. I
yeah,
love how the movie starts out. Like it starts out with him, or putting those boys in cuffs on the side of the road, and he's giving them that good speech.
yeah.
And like, was it?
Arrest
It was
yourself.
Sally. Was it Sally Field to come by? Something come, or he got a
No, they
call.
were
I forgot
looking.
what it
They were
was.
looking for the Trans Am already.
Were they?
Yeah. She had already been picked up and got into a Trans Am. She had stopped. Someone saw her getting into a car with a Trans Am with somebody taking off.
That's right. Well, anyway, he he told the boys he had a car coming, and before he said he goes, and don't go home, and don't eat, and don't play with yourself. It wouldn't like nice on my highway. Oh, you can think about it, but don't you do it.
And then when he leaves, the one kid's like, "I'm getting out of here." And the other one goes, "I don't know about you. I ain't going nowhere."
Yeah, yeah, they stayed. He kicked him right in the tail for that was an attention getter.
Yeah. Well, first off, he needed the first one between the legs.
Yeah.
And he's doubled over. Oh, and he goes, "Arrest yourself." He turns around, gets against the car. He looks at the other two, and they immediately turn around real quick. He
Man,
kicks them both in the butt. And he's like, "Now that's what you call an attention getter."
attention getter. I love too when they're headed home. I love that there's a good little stretch of 85 between Georgia and South Carolina right here that they
Hmm.
film some of this chase scene on.
Yeah.
I love knowing that. I love it that every time I go to Georgia or I'm down around Townville that I'm looking at this highway like, yeah, check it out, man. This is where Smokey and the Bandit filmed Smokey and the Bandit right here. That makes two films that Burt has been in South Carolina for it in because they filmed some of Deliverance right here on the Chattooga River right down here at Bull Sluice, about an hour and a half from my house.
When you drive down that road, you think about Smokey and the Bandit, do you put the hammer down?
Sometimes, yeah. Absolutely. We hammer down.
And the talk in this movie, the radio lingo going on nonstop, it gives me
Mhm.
giggles sometimes. I mean, because I wish I could remember it word for word how they do it. I haven't watched it so many times I can remember all that stuff word for word. I know some of it, like they got the 10-100s, the 10-200, talking about the
Mhm.
choke and puke, which is the the
Oh,
restaurant I
yeah.
guess they're
Pulling
going
into
to.
choke and puke.
Um,
We used to I
they're
remember
talking
coming
about
up.
having like a, what was the, county mountie and a plain white wrapper or something like
Yeah,
that.
that's an unmarked plain
Yeah,
white wrappers
unmarked
are
car.
unmarked. Then you got the county mountie is not that's county, the sheriff's department. And
Right.
then uh what was it? Just the Smokies, uh water bottles. Water bottles were tanker trucks. Um your Browns. What was it? They had something for Browns too. Those were the state troopers. The state trooper had his own name, and
They had
doggone,
the
there was a
city
bunch
keep.
of them. Yeah, because my grandfather quit building back when Fireball Roberts and Ralph Earnhardt and Kel Yarborough and everyone was doing NASCAR. My grandfather built engines, and he quit building engines in NASCAR because back then there wasn't no money in it to drive a truck. And I remember hearing him talk about it too, and learning some of the lingo when I was younger. And we had pages, we had like two or three pages, so we always had we didn't have a scanner, we had a straight up CB set up in the house, and then so we had codes, we had police codes, and then we had trucker codes, and then we had like lingo, and it was all on like a notebook paper hung up on the wall.
Yeah. Truckers hated the fact that, CBs were starting to get popular after this movie because people were getting them put in all the cars, and they would
Yeah.
look for truckers on the road and see if they could recognize them so they could try out their CB lingo on them and everything, and ask
Right.
them to honk the horns and stuff.
Hmm.
It's crazy. Like, why'd they ever bring that out? I had a CB in my Nova. My first car I had was a Chevy Nova. I had a CB in that.
Oh, really?
I did. I ain't gonna lie, I
Heck
did.
yeah.
I'd get on there at night sometimes and just mess with them. When I say mess with them, I mean I would do stupid stuff to mess with them.
Right.
Of course, after I seen that movie, was it called Candy Cane?
Candy cane.
Is that what it was? That the movie called?
Not the movie's Joyride.
Joyride. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, though. Paul Walker.
Oh yeah, I know exactly what you're talking
They're
about. He's like, if
making
there's
fun of that
any way
drive.
you could bring me a bottle of pink champagne, it's my favorite. I love that guy. Because you know that's Buffalo Bill too.
Is it?
That's Buffalo Bill. Oh, yeah, the same guy played Buffalo Bill that played did that voice, and he was also Brian's boss. We got to get Dom Toretto, Brian. That was Buffalo Bill.
I remember watching that movie Joyride and thinking to myself, "Boy, I guess it's a good thing I wasn't out on the open road messing with those truckers, then, isn't it?" Because
Right. Well,
I-24 where I live go at the house I lived in, if you
mhm,
were in the air, like a helicopter or something going from my house to the interstate, it's like very, very close. I mean, like less than a mile
mhm,
by air travel to the interstate where it would cross by there. So I could
mhm.
pick up I-24 right there with the truckers going through and everything. And we would mess with them hard sometimes. I had a friend get in with me and we just laugh and make fun of them. We'd sit there and do stupid stuff like we're Millie Vanilli on the CB or something and talk in some Jamaican voice or something,
Right.
and tell
Well,
them
see,
that we're not lip syncing on this CB. We're talking for real. We are real. We are for the
back
real, man.
Yeah, for real. But see, back in the day too, now you used to have back when everything was analog and you had gauges and needles and dials, they could triangulate you. Like they would follow your signal strength and they could run you down. It
Well,
happened a lot of times.
I mean, and that's something I still wouldn't mind having in a vehicle. Honestly, I mean, it's actually a very helpful thing to have in a car.
Yeah, absolutely.
CBs have good range on them if you got a good setup.
Hmm.
And, if anything, just keeping, while you're on long road trips or something, it's good for that. I mean, you have hold conversations with people, listen to the chatter going on, seeing what
Right.
people are talking about and stuff. I mean, it's actually not a bad way to go.
Yeah.
It's kinda cool.
You know what else I loved about this movie too
What's
is
that?
being our age, I came up right at the tail end of that running from the law stupidity.
Mhm.
And that's how I learned how to drive. I mean, I learned how to drive on dirt roads and over here uh, on Donaldson Center, and you know, learning the roads real good. And when your cops get after you, you hit them good turns and shut your lights off in the middle of the night and keep on rolling. And you know what I mean? You
Turn
could,
down the first side road you see, and it's gonna connect with 3 or 4 others that you can take if you need to.
yeah, that's right. That's right.
Like you said,
But it,
pulling in
the,
somebody's driveway and turn your lights off like you belong there, and they drive right on past.
yeah, yeah. And you see, you had to be
Not that I
smart.
did that in case my mother is listening, not that I did
Right.
that at all.
No kidding. You had to be smart too, because you didn't want to throw up a sideways in a gravel driveway. Gravel driveway, leave that dust from the dust
Yeah,
out of it, and then know you was there.
uh
But I love the timepiece. I love timepiece stuff too, and this is really a reflection of how life was just freer back then. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
the the parties that they were having, and then hitchhiking on the side of the road, and I mean, God knows how many people really did disappear back then, but it wasn't as I mean, people hitchhiked across the country thousands of times back in the 60s and 70s. You know.
Now, I'm gonna tell you something I didn't realize. We were talking about some of the things that some of the others done in the past, some of these stars. Going back to
Hmm.
Burt Reynolds, we didn't really touch on Burt Reynolds because we just know he's been in a lot of good movies.
Yeah,
But
that was
bringing
our
him
fault.
up, I did not know. You probably know this,
Hmm.
and I don't know how many of the people out there listening know this, but an old TV show in the
Even Shane.
60s.
Oh,
No,
okay, in the
in the
60s.
60s, a TV show. It's a western. He
Mm.
played a character for 3 years. Do you know what it is?
We're not talking about Bonanza, are we?
No, sir, we're not, but same time frame.
Rawhide?
Oh, well, I guess Bonanza was out in the '60s, wasn't it? I don't remember. Um, Gunsmoke.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Gunsmoke.
Bobby, he was on Gunsmoke.
He was Quint.
Really?
Yes, Quint was part Indian.
Bobby.
If you don't remember, go to YouTube and just, YouTube,
Yeah, I'd have to
Gunsmoke
watch it because
Quint.
I remember Marshall Dale and the Miss Kitty, and uh, but I don't remember all the characters. And I guess he would have been pretty young
He
on that
was he
too.
was young. He was there during the black and white versions of the show, not
Oh.
during the color versions when they had colorized it and everything.
He did a lot of that stuff too. He did. It seems like he did a couple of things too, because I remember Young Guns making fun of the Navajo stuff. My buddy
Well,
Raymond had the movie Navajo Joe.
I was gonna tell you in '66 he was Navajo Joe, yes.
Yeah, so we used to make fun of that. We used to call my buddy Raymond Navajo, but that's because he loved Young Guns, and he had the Navajo. Who was it? Billy Jack.
Mhm.
I'm about to put the left side of my foot up against the right
Yeah.
side of your head.
Yeah.
So him and daggum Navajo Joe, and so yeah, that's what I
Well,
used
a
to
a
remember
lot of people
Navajo
are
Joe.
here a lot of you people are hearing you say that, and they're like, "Wait, wasn't that Major Payne?"
Right?
That
Heck
quote
yeah.
was in Major Payne, but he said, "Don't give me none of that Billy Jack BS."
Yeah. Yeah, he did a lot of stuff. Like I said, I remember I saw him in Navajo Joe just because my buddy had the movie, but the first thing I remember him in, and it's younger than what I would have remembered him in, but the earliest movie I can think of would have been Deliverance.
Yeah. Was I mean, he
I
was
think
he was
that's the youngest I can remember seeing him,
he
aside
was
from
very
Navajo Joe.
he was very busy through the '60s doing stuff, anything from TV shows to some movies,
Hmm.
uh, TV series, 12 O'Clock High, Flipper, Branded, Operation CIA was a movie, Gunsmoke,
He
Twilight Zone, Perry Mason, Route
he did the
66.
original Longest Yard.
Yes, he did. He did. He was in the, we'll pass on that. He was in Shark.
Hmm.
Um, let's see. I'm skipping over quite a few things because no one might know him. I know I don't recognize him. TV, it was a
Right.
TV series called Dan August. He was Lieutenant Dan August. Went
Okay.
for 26 episodes, 70 to 71. Deliverance was 72. Seamus in 73. White Lightning in 73.
Hmm.
You know what? You know White Lightning, don't you?
Yeah.
You know what? I'm sure you
We
know
m-
what White Lightning is, but you know
we
what the
make
movie
it
White.
around here. Woo!
I was waiting on that.
White
You,
lightning.
but do you know the premise of White Lightning? What it's about? Do you know what his character name was in it?
That's the first Gator movie.
Exactly. Yes, Bobby Gator McCluskey.
Yeah, that's the first Gator movie. Because I remember watching Gator, and my dad and his friend Billy uh, put me on White Lightning, because White Lightning was the first. Gator movie, and I think there's 3 Gator movies, but I can't be sure.
Well, let's see. There was White Lightning. Then there was Gator for Gator McCluskey. I see
Mhm.
that. White Lightning was done in 73. Gator was done in 76.
Okay.
You got, funny enough, he's a movie called Nickelodeon. He plays someone named Buck Greenway.
Ain't that something?
And there was a channel called Nickelodeon. I know there was a movie called Nickelodeon.
Right?
Semi Tough played Billy Clyde Puckett. Hooper.
Hooper was awesome. That was the only movie I can ever remember seeing. Uh, Hawk from Airwolf.
Yeah.
Jan
He
Michael
played
Vincent.
played Sharky in Sharky's Machine.
Yeah.
JJ McClure in the Cannonball Run.
Yep.
Love the Cannonball Run, by the way.
The best little whorehouse in
Hey,
Texas.
tell you what, it took us a while to get to Smokey and the Bandit. We're going to hit Cannonball Run before it's over with.
Oh, for sure.
Stroker Ace.
Strucker Ace was awesome.
He was actually had a bit part in Six Pack. He didn't star in it, but he was the man walking in front of Brewster and Lila. He's uncredited in the movie, but it's him.
Oh, okay. You skipped right over best little whorehouse in Texas.
I did. My bad. Sheriff Ed Earl Dodd.
You got something against Dolly turning people into singers.
Oh, not at all.
I mean, I don't think that happened
That's
in that movie.
that's
But
actually Rhinestone.
yeah.
I got something against that though.
But it's got Dolly in it.
Well, that's the highlight of the movie.
Right. Yeah.
So Cannonball Run 2 with the new Mike Hammer. He made one episode in the TV series. He's uncredited in that too, though. So
You know what else? You know what
the
else? Hold on. We can't run past this. He was Charlie in All Dogs Go to Heaven.
I did not know that.
He was the voice of Charlie. Sure enough. That was
Let's see.
one of my mood cartoons growing up.
Stick and Heat are two more movies I remember that we had around the house. I never really watched them but as well as Rent-A-Cop. I wasn't a huge Clint Eastwood fan
Yeah,
in the 80s.
I don't
Now
remember any of those.
if it's his comedies, I liked them, but I wasn't big on like some of the cop type
When did
deals he
when did
did.
when did Clint Eastwood do comedy in the 80s?
Cannonball Run, Cannonball Run 2. What'd I
Oh,
say?
okay.
What'd I say?
You said Clint
Oh my
Eastwood.
god, I said Clint Eastwood.
You
I'm looking
did.
at something over here and
I was
I'm
gonna
sick.
let it slide, but then I was like,
Oh,
no, I can't.
see, that might get edited out. Who knows?
Heck yeah.
Perhaps we'll leave this blooper in. I was looking at
Well,
something on the
remember,
screen and it's got Clint Eastwood on there, so I said Clint Eastwood looking at it when I was trying to say Burt Reynolds.
I remember him showing up on WKRP one time too to pick up Lonnie Anderson, like from the station, like they were dating because they were they married in real life? They were dating, I know,
I don't
but
know if they were married or not.
he was on the show. It might have been a couple of times. I don't know, but I distinctly remember him being on WKRP in
1993,
Cincinnati.
the new WKRP in Cincinnati in 93 for one episode.
Yeah, he came and picked. That's what it was. He came and picked up Lonnie Anderson for dinner or something.
Yeah. Now he did Cop and a Half. I remember watching that.
I vaguely
That
remember that one.
small kid doing a ride along with him or something like that.
Hmm.
It
Hmm.
wasn't really a great movie, but it was okay.
He was Otter Bob in a Sinbad movie.
And I have not seen another Gator McCluskey. I've
Otter
looked, but
Churchy.
I have not seen another one.
Right.
So some more recent movies in the 90s that people may remember. He was the congressman in Striptease with Demi Moore.
Hmm.
And let's see. Boogie Nights. He was in that.
I don't remember. I remember him being Boss Hogg in the Dukes of Hazzard remake, which is 2000.
Right, which is kind of funny because, like I
2000.
mentioned earlier, three of the people from the Dukes of Hazzard was in Smokey and the Bandit. This movie, we had John Schneider, we had Sonny Schroyer, and John Schneider, Bo Duke.
Yeah.
Sonny Schroyer played Enos Strait, and we had Ben Jones that played Cooter.
Yeah.
Now, John Schneider, you don't really see him; he's in the background of one of the scenes,
Hmm.
wearing a cowboy hat and all this stuff. So you probably wouldn't notice him. I don't remember what Ben Jones was doing. Sonny Schroyer was a motorcycle cop that pulled Snowman over. So that's what he was doing. And then later on, like you said, he went on and played Boss Hogg in the Dukes of Hazzard movie,
Hmm.
which I was not a huge fan of, by the way.
Oh, I
The
loved
Dukes
it.
the Dukes of Hazzard movie. I was not really much of a fan of it. It had its parts, but you know me, I'm always a stickler for wanting things to stay as close to the same as they can.
Yeah.
and you got Willie Nelson playing Uncle Jesse, not the same kind of Uncle Jesse you're used to from the TV series.
Yeah, I don't remember Uncle Jesse smoking weed from an apple.
No, not really. You don't remember him
But I
doing a lot
remember
of stuff that was
Burt
going
was
on
in.
in there.
Burt was also he was in Without a Paddle, because I remember that was later. But he was in a great TV show called Nightshade, and
Yes.
I believe he's a football coach in it.
Let's see, night.
I can't remember, but it was a good show. It was a really good show.
No, Evening Shade.
Evening Shade, not Nightshade. Evening Shade.
In Evening Shade, he played Wood Newton. That's all it
Hmm.
says.
Okay.
So if he was
Seems
a
like he
coach, I
was a
don't
coach.
remember.
I believe he was a coach.
I never really watched the show, so I can't tell you exactly what he did.
Yeah.
Mystery Alaska. That was a great movie for me. I liked that movie.
Hmm.
He played the judge.
Hmm.
So we got him in the X Files
The X
TV.
Files.
That's the TV series, one episode. I see that now. My
Oh,
bad.
really? I'll be.
He did do a voice in Grand Theft Auto Vice City,
I could
like
hear that.
games. All you GTA fans out there.
I can see that. I can see that.
There's Without a Pedal, Without a Paddle, right there.
Without a Paddle, that movie is hilarious.
The Longest Yard remake. He played the coach, Nate Scarborough.
Okay.
There you go. Like that one. So I mean, he's been in quite a few things, without a
Right.
doubt. More. I mean, he's not. It's not like his later roles he played were like Emmy-winning roles or anything like that, or very
Yeah.
memorable
Yeah.
movies sometimes. But he still stayed busy, to say the least.
Yeah.
Jackie Gleason, famous for the
Yep. Let's move
Honeymooners,
on to
really.
the. We'll move on to the real star of the show.
Yeah, I mean he's more famous for the Honeymooners than anything I think. But Smokey and the
Nobody
Bandit.
makes Buford T Justice look like a possum's pecker.
What if all right? If someone was to ask you today, they put out there. I know you get all these quotes from Smokey and the Bandit, but today's show, not even in the picture. Let's not even think about doing this show. If I come up to you
Okay.
today and I said to you, I said Jackie Gleason, what
Mhm.
is the first thing that comes to mind?
Buford T Justice.
As for you, so the first thing comes to mind for me is the Honeymooners. I
And
don't
see,
know why.
the Honeymooners
That's
is way back in my mind, because the second thing that comes to my mind was when he played Minnesota Flats in with Paul Newman in The Hustler,
yeah.
because
Was he
that's an
not also in the toy
amazing.
with Richard Pryor?
Man,
I
I
think
don't
he played
remember
the
that.
father to the
That's
boy.
been a oh man, that's been a long time since I saw the toy. Wow, I've forgotten about that movie. Yeah.
Oh, if you haven't seen it in a while,
Oh
you need to watch
man.
it.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've seen that one. And I believe he was. Yeah, yeah, Jackie Gleason. Yeah, he was the boy's dad.
I'm sure he was. Do you know where
Yeah,
Buford T.
U.S.
Justice came
U.S.
from?
Bates. That was somebody that uh Burt Reynolds' daddy or uncle knew.
His
Like he
dad.
his dad.
His dad was the chief of police in Jupiter, Florida,
Yeah.
and some of Jackie Gleason's Buford T. Justice's the way he acts and everything. He got
Right.
some of that from Burt Reynolds' father too. The way he was, how Burt Reynolds described him as a sheriff.
Hmm.
He took some of that and integrated it into the character, which I thought was
Heck
kind of
yeah.
cool too.
No doubt.
Especially the way he says one thing. Uh,
One thing.
yeah, the way he
One
says
thing.
one thing in particular. Whenever he says
Where are you, you son bitch?
Oh
when he
yeah.
when he says that, that's how Burt Reynolds' father apparently used to say it. So he puts that
I
out
don't
there
know.
several times.
I love the roadblock. I don't know how he got through. Well, you stupid son of bitches couldn't close an umbrella.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Two people in this movie, Pat McCormick and Paul Williams. They play Big Enos and Little Enos. I was telling you earlier, I seen them on an episode of Fall Guy and could not pick out where I seen those guys from anywhere. And I'm like, the same two guys. I've seen them in something. And I watched this movie again last night for the first time in a while, and it struck me. I said, there they are.
Right.
That's the ones I couldn't remember. But
Oh, just for a second, let's give Junior his props, Mr. Mike Henry.
Oh, we got to.
who played Junior. Junior.
Junior. What
There's
would you
no
like,
way.
Junior? Would you
No,
also? I like some hush puppies, Daddy.
we ain't got time for that. Stupid son of a bitch. He like, there's no way you come from my loins. The first thing I'm gonna do when I get home is punch your mama in the mouth. But yeah, I just said his name, Mike Henry.
Mike Henry. Yeah.
Mike Henry, this dude to have been playing, the what would you call that one? Special needs, almost like on the verge of.
Oh gosh, I mean, he was
Like just a
very.
goofball.
He was very simple minded. He was very
Simple minded.
what's the guy's name in Beverly Hillbillies?
Jethro.
He's very Jethro like almost.
He was very Jethro. He probably could have made a good Jethro.
Probably
But
could
this
have.
dude played in. I've seen these movies on the Sunday Disney Movie Time. I remember those. This dude was Sergeant. Well, okay, let me start with those movies. That's Tarzan. He was Tarzan and the Jungle Boy, Tarzan and the Great River, Tarzan and the Valley of Gold. So he's Tarzan at least 3 times.
Right.
He was Sergeant Kowalski in the Green Berets, which I was like, what? Because I've watched that movie. I've seen that movie quite a few times too. He was Creole Jim in the old Daniel Boone TV series. And what else was it that was impressive to me? I don't know how many people have seen Soylent Green, but he was Kolozik in Soylent Green.
I can't say I've seen that one.
Soylent Green is a funky one. That's about him feeding us roaches. Not really, but yeah, it's corporations controlling. Like, you want to see something that really mess you up, go watch Soylent Green, a movie that was made like back in the 60s or something, 50s even, I don't remember. And it's about corporate takeover of our government, of our country. It's pretty wild. It's almost like watching a Twilight
basically what's
Zone
going
movie.
on today, you're saying.
Pretty much. But anyway, yeah, this guy did all kind of stuff. He was a lot more than Junior.
Daddy. The way he's so when the top gets knocked off the car.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Let me just do this. So I know you got too many to mention. We're at the 48-minute mark, and we've been trying to keep these closer to an hour here lately.
Right.
What's one of your favorite parts of the movie? Do you have just a favorite part, or is it kind of a tie between a couple?
It's a tie between a couple of them, but if I had to only choose only one, it's the whole dialogue though. From the moment he says, "You want something, Junior?" and he says, "Some hush puppies, Daddy. We ain't got no time for that." And then it flicks to him. He smacks his hand down on the counter. He says, "I need a Diablo sandwich and a Dr. Pepper, and make it fast. I'm in a hurry."
You're backwards. He says that first, then he goes to the door and yells at Junior.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, he says
we don't got no time for that.
He does that first, then he runs back to the door and says, "Do you want anything?" And he says, "Some hush puppies, Daddy."
Yeah.
We ain't got time for that. Then he turns around and comes back, and she starts putting out the sandwich and the drink for him. Yeah. And he's sitting next to the bandit who starts the conversation with him then.
Exactly. And then the bandit's like, "Somebody chasing you? Or who's after you?" I forgot exactly what it was he said to him, but he's like, turn around and he said, "Ain't nobody chasing me, boy. I'm in hot pursuit of a maniac." He says some other words, but we're going to keep it a family show. But man, it is hilarious. The mom, like I said, that entire interaction there when he come out of the office, out of the bathroom, and he had the toilet paper stuck to his leg, and the girl stopped him, and it's a healthy woman, and he turned around, he's like cleaning his glasses, and he goes, "Nice ass."
Oh my gosh.
That whole interaction right there is probably my favorite part of the movie.
Okay. While that is a great part of the movie, no doubt, I like that one also. I'll go ahead and go with a different part. And this is kind of ongoing to the movie. When they end up going underneath a tractor trailer and ducking down so they don't get beheaded, the whole top part of the car gets taken off.
Right.
So the rest of the time they're going down the road, Junior is over there holding his hat on his head where it won't fly
Hold
off
it.
his head because he won't take his hat off. He leaves it on and is having Junior
Oh,
hold it. So
he's
they get
holding Buford's song.
right. So when they get out of the
Yeah.
car to walk over to him, he puts his hand back up and starts holding it again. And
Yeah.
the sheriff stops and looks at him, just gives him this look like, "You idiot." Yeah, he's just it's
That's
like
so
he's
funny.
thinking that. He doesn't say it. And he goes, like, "Let's go real quick." Like, oops. That always cracked me up throughout the movie. There's so many things though that made me laugh in it. It's really hard to narrow it down to one. If I had to pick one truly, it'd be the scene you said where he's in there ordering the sandwich and he's sitting next to the bandit for a few
Oh
minutes without
man,
knowing it.
that part's
That's
so
pretty much the best of the
fantastic.
best.
I got a good did you know before we get out of here too. Or
Yeah.
before we start wrapping it up. Um, Alfred Hitchcock's daughter Patricia revealed that every Wednesday her father would screen films on the lot in his office, and that
Mhm.
the last movie that Alfred Hitchcock ever screened was Smokey and the Bandit, and he said it was his favorite film of his last few years.
Yeah, she said it was like his guilty pleasure
Yeah,
doing that.
my
I read
hat
something
blew
about that
off,
earlier.
Daddy. No, no, you talk about the hat. My hat blew off, Daddy. Yeah, I hope your goddamn head was in it. It's like,
It's terrible.
oh
Um,
man.
oh, did you know though
Oh,
that
you could have bleeped that when I missed that self edit there.
oh, I'm sorry if I knew it was coming. I had my hand on the
I know,
button.
right? Do what I
Um,
tell you to, you pile of monkey nuts.
if did you know though? However, Burt Reynolds was not the original person that they wanted to play the bandit.
I remember that, but I can't remember who it was.
Jerry Reed.
It seems like it was. I was gonna say it seemed like it was Jerry actually.
Yeah. Hal Needham wrote it for Jerry Reed, but when he told Burt Reynolds about it, Burt said he wanted to play Bandit, so they rescripted Jerry Reed for Snowman.
Yeah.
And of course, at this one point during the movie, if you noticed, Burt Reynolds breaks the fourth wall there. He looks at the camera and smiles
Yeah.
like he's letting people know, I know you're there.
I know you're there.
Um, I got something else for you here. Give me just a second, see if I can find it.
Oh, quick flop back to my guy, the voice.
Yeah,
Candy King. His
yeah.
name's Ted Levine.
Ted Levine.
Ted Levine, and he's been in a whole slew of stuff that we don't remember or think about it being him. But as soon as you hear the voice, because even when he's talking normal, he's still like,
You
we've been
know,
chasing down Dom Toretto for 15 years, Brian.
apparently, I've already told you the one thing I was going to say because I've got everything covered. How about that? How's that for
How
efficient?
in the world?
I'm just good that way, I guess.
Heck yeah.
But I mean, it's a great movie to talk about. There's so many fun things in it that man, it's just it's got so many one-liners we can sit here and quote this movie all night long and laugh just because you do such a good Buford T justice. I mean, we could
Oh, thank you.
we could really. It's like at the end of the movie when he's in that convertible he gets from Big Enos and Little Enos and they're leaving, and they
Mhm.
see Justice over there in the car, and he says, "Junior," he says, "go over there and arrest that guy for
That
something or
horse's
other."
ass.
I forget what it was.
Obstruction of justice.
Obstruction of
Wasn't it?
justice.
I think.
I can't remember, but you see Bandit,
No,
he's
no,
like,
no, 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 no. I remember he said, apprehend that horse's ass for reckless driving.
that's what it was.
That's what it was. Apprehend.
So then you get in the background, you see Reynolds. Oh, you see the bandit taking the CB and said, yeah, is sheriff looking for a sheriff justice out there."
Mm-hmm.
And he says, "And who might this be?" And he goes, this is the bandit." And
Yeah.
he gets that famous.
Where are you, you son bitch?
He gets that. He's so mad. That's where that part come from. And he
Heck
says, "Well,
yeah.
before I tell you that, I'd like to just let you know I've been pursued by many a people out there, and I swear you're just one of the best there is out there." I forget word for word what he says to him. And then
He,
Gleason comes back and he says, "Well, let me say to you, Mr. Bandit," he says, "thank you." And he says, "Let me say that you were one of the best was it per
He said,
pursuits?
he said, well, thank you, Mr. Bandit. And as the pursuer, may I say you're the pure, pure, pursuee I ever pursued.
That's what it was. Well, thank you. He says, now where are you at? He goes, well, you can't miss me. I'm right over there. I'm a tall guy wearing an ugly suit, and I got this
Yeah,
little guy next to me.
that's so good.
And then he's like, okay, after all we've been through, I can't lie to you, son. He says, look behind your left shoulder. And he looks and he sees the guy he was sitting next to in the diner earlier in the movie. And I think he realizes he was right next to him the whole time talking to him, and he's so mad about it now.
Heck
And
yeah.
just going off on it. He says, if you need us, he says, we'll be in New England getting some chowder.
Yeah.
Because that
We'll
was
be
the
over here
thing.
getting some chowder.
They made a bet with him at the end, double or nothing. They couldn't bring some clam chowder back down from up there to come back to go with all that beer.
Right?
I think, and then when the second movie happens, it's not even about that. It's about something else. They're transporting an elephant or something.
Yeah, the second one is. Yeah. But that, hey, since I'm the snowman and you the bandit, well, I changed it to Travis T. Justice, but I wonder something there, Mr. Bandit. Me and Fred's got a question.
Uh,
You got to
what you
answer it
and
there, Mr.
Fred?
Bandit.
What you and Fred want?
How come we doing this?
Well, why not?
Well, they said it couldn't be done.
Well, that's the reason, son.
Well, that's good with Fred. We clear.
10-4. What'd you find that at?
Oh, I just kept on looking up quotes to find from somebody besides the hint because I can't remember anybody else's lines ever. I remember everything Buford T. Justice said, and about the only thing I can remember Snowman saying is Fred don't eat grease balls. And then I remember it was at Sally Field looked at him and said, Mr. Bandit, you have a lyrical way of spouting bullshit or something like that. Cutting through bullshit or spouting bullshit or something. A lyrical way of doing it. And that's about the only quotes I remember.
Another
Aside from
snowman.
Buford.
Another snowman bit is where he sees somebody else has gotten in the car with Bandit, and
Mhm.
this dress goes flying back, and
Yes.
he says, "What was that? What was that, son?" And he goes, the wedding dress she was wearing." He goes, "Well, what's she wearing now?"
That's right.
Come on now, I said, "What's she wearing now? Don't leave me in the dark."
Didn't he say Fred wanted to know too? Well,
I
Fred
think
said to ask
so.
what's she wearing now?
When he goes into the little bar that he stopped at many times getting food, getting some hamburgers. So one for him, one for Fred. They got a bunch of bikers there. That's where he
Yeah.
talks about Fred don't eat grease balls or something like
Yeah,
that.
the dude said your dog bit me.
So they end
You
up beating
calling
him
me a
up and
liar?
tossed him out of the bar.
Then he
And then
ran
he just
over all their motorcycles.
drives through all them motorcycles and runs straight over them.
Heck yeah.
He just grinning on the way down the road, like, yeah, I got the last.
Man, I love it.
So, all right. Well, we got to go ahead and start wrapping this up. It's been fun. Smokey the Bandit. If you haven't seen it, people, go out and get it. I'm not going to recommend 2 or 3 because I wouldn't put you through all that trouble. 2 might be
Right.
worthy of watching because it's still a little bit good, but it's not as great as 1. 1 is the best from beginning to end. You won't regret
Absolutely.
it. Um, if this is your first time listening, as I said earlier, make sure you subscribe to the show. If this is your 10th or 20th time listening, what are you waiting for? Subscribe to
Right?
the show. Go to the website, www.retrolife, the number 4, the letter U.com. At the top of the page, you can give us a ranking there on Podchaser. 5
Mhm.
stars. And yeah, exactly, 5 stars. And it helps the show out a lot, makes us look good. People get curious, want to know what we're talking about. Says he's 5 stars. So let's just check them out. The more people we get, the better.
No
But we're on the
doubt.
social medias out there. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. We're on TikTok and a little bit of Twitter, but I don't do a whole lot of it because it's just too political for me these days. Uh, check us out. Follow us. Get some good behind the scenes things from some movies I put up sometimes. Here eventually, Travis, I keep saying this. We got to get on this. We're going to have some more videos and stuff on YouTube that stretch out beyond the movies. We're going to cover some TV shows, some music,
Mm-hmm.
some toys,
Yup. That'll be
collectibles.
fun.
I have some fun stuff for you. Hopefully, we get up there at least some of these things here soon.
Heck
Uh,
yeah.
so, thanks for listening to the show, everybody. And Travis, we will see you next
Yeah,
episode.
I'll let you know though, my toddler there, Jesse T. Justice. I'm about to have to put his little butt in timeout. I want to arrest him. He's refusing to nap. That means he's resisting arrest.
Resisting arrest and probably dropped you a 10-200.